Dereta, dereta, dereta. Stoppa, stoppa, stoppa. Muokere, muokere. Hop, 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 hop. Non muova. Ah, l'asparagus.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. I have another video for you guys today. So I was looking through my videos and I was trying to see which of the videos were kind of popular, what topics were popular with you guys, and I saw the one that was very popular was in regards to my undergraduate grades, so the C's that I got as an undergraduate. So I wanted to talk about this in this video, and basically also some of the things that my advisor told me as an undergrad. So I just wanted to discuss that. Specifically for those of you who are interested in becoming PAs and are undergraduate students and are struggling in your undergraduate classes, your prerequisite classes, or you have advisors that sometimes don't guide you the correct way or tell you what to do, or sometimes instead of motivating you they put you down. So I wanted to discuss that in this video. So I did not have very good grades as an undergraduate. I had C's. If you've seen my previous videos, I had C's in both OChem 1 and 2. I had C's in also genetics. I really struggled with chemistry in general. Also, I had a C in my Gen Chem class, and just chemistry was very hard for me. Also, math was very hard for me, hence why I didn't go that pathway. But I loved science, I loved biology, I loved biochemistry, even if it had a little bit of chemistry, but just chemistry did not stick with me. Physics also, I had to retake my physics class because I got a C in that class, and it was one of the prereqs for one of the programs I was applying to. And so I wasn't a stellar student when it came down to my GPA, when it came down to my grades in my prerequisite classes, to my grades in general. I didn't have straight A's. I wasn't a 4.0 student, and I still got accepted into PA school. So that's why I want to motivate you guys that if you guys are struggling in undergraduate with a certain course, etc., don't feel bad about it. We're not perfect. Most of my classmates in my classes aren't 4.0 students, although the majority of them do have higher than a 3.5, 3.6, etc. I'm kind of at the lower end because my overall GPA was a 3.39 and my science GPA was a 3.2, so it definitely was not very high, very competitive. But PA schools look at the whole package, so they look at your extracurricular activities. Were you working during that time? What were you doing? Your healthcare experience hours, your patient care experience hours. They look at your volunteer hours, etc. So they don't only look at grades. Of course, grades are very important. Specifically, now PA school is getting more and more competitive, and I see that because my program is getting more and more applications every year, and it seems like their qualifications that they require from students are increasing, and I think this is just nationwide. But in general, they do look at a student as an overall person, so they don't only focus on grades, because of course grades are going to get you through PA school, but they also want to make sure that you have that patient care experience, so you've been able to work with patients, that healthcare experience, that you've been working in clinical settings in the hospitals and clinics, etc. Those volunteer hours to see that you work with your community, that you want to give back to your community. So they don't only focus on your grades. So if you have bad grades as an undergraduate and you're nervous and you think you're not going to get accepted in PA school, don't let that demotivate you. I know for sure, for me, it demotivated me. The first time I applied to PA school, I didn't get into PA school. I had to apply the second time. I got into PA school finally the second time. And of course, there was multiple factors on why I didn't get accepted to the PA school first time. Probably my interviewing skills, which were not very good. On top of that, I didn't have any patient care experience hours. I had a lot of healthcare experience hours. I had more than 10,000 healthcare experience hours, but had 0 patient care experience hours, volunteer hours. I had shadowing hours. So you also want to make sure that you look at your application as a whole and ask yourself, well, what am I lacking? Am I lacking patient care experience hours? Am I lacking healthcare experience hours? What am I lacking? What is not making me a good candidate? So make sure you look at your application. Whether you're lacking in patient care experience hours, go and get those patient care experience hours. I know most of the schools that I applied to, this was back in 2017, so it's been a while. I don't know if their qualifications have changed. They had a limit of 1,000. So you had to have at least 1,000 patient care experience hours for them to look at your application or to consider it. And I would say this is one of the reasons why the first time I applied to PA school, I applied to 9 schools, I got rejected from all 9. It's because I had 0 patient care experience hour. So what I did is that I told my clinic that I worked at if I can be cross-trained to the back office, and they agreed. So I was able to work in the back office where I did injections, I triaged patients, took blood pressures, etc. And I was able to get those 1,000 hours in the year so I can apply for the following cycle. And this made me a stronger candidate because I got more interviews and I got acceptances for PA schools. So that's why you have to make sure you look at your application as a whole. Another thing also I wanted to address is that I remember that I was really struggling into what I wanted to do. My advisors weren't very good, as perhaps I could say. They did not guide me the correct way, or they did not provide me the correct information on what to do with my degree, with my prerequisites, how to apply to PA school. Everything I did is I found it online. I found it through YouTube videos, through fellow other PA student YouTubers, online, through the internet, through the aapa.org website. So make sure that when you are asking them questions, if they give you, sometimes they'll give you improper information, and I always made sure I Googled everything. Also, I know sometimes I would show them my transcript and I would tell them I'm interested in medicine, and they would say, well, you know, it might be difficult to get into school because of the grades you have, and that's not true. It's not true, okay? Make sure you stay motivated and you make sure that your application is pristine. If you have some low grades and you get an interview, make sure that if they ask you about them, you address them. And be honest, guys. Be honest. Don't make any excuses about your grades. I can't stress that enough. It's one of the red flags is making excuses like, well, my professor had a thick accent, so I couldn't understand what they were saying, so it was their fault. Or the professor required too many things, or etc. So don't make excuses, be honest. If it was, for example, in my case, chemistry was not a strong class for me. It wasn't at all. So what did I do to be able to take biochemistry and make sure I get a good grade? Well, I studied a lot harder, and during that summer, before my class started, which was in fall, I studied a lot and made sure that I knew chemistry because I knew chemistry was going to be very, very vital in biochemistry class. So this is what I told them. So you want to make sure that you're very, very honest in your interviews when it comes to addressing your bad grades. But no, bad grades do not define who you are. They do not define how you're going to do in PA school. Once again, like I said, I had C's. I had C's in my undergraduate classes. Now, did this define me how I did in PA school? No, not at all, because of course I did struggle the first semester because I did not know how to study in PA school. I didn't know what material to study. There was just so much material and I didn't have good time management skills. But after that, I started doing very well in my classes. My summer semester, I got all A's except for 1B, and I'm doing very well. So no, my undergraduate grades did not define what type of student I'm going to be in PA school. Specifically, since I want this so much, I really want to become a physician assistant, I'm not going to let my grades define me. Because once again, it's like my professors say, that once you graduate from PA school, they're not going to know what grades you had in your undergraduate classes. You're going to be practicing as a PA. The patients aren't going to know what school you went to, what grades you had, etc. The fact is that you just made it to your goal. You graduated as a physician assistant, no matter how you got there, whether you had multiple bachelor's degrees, whether you had a bachelor's degree and multiple master's degree, you're still going to be a PA. So make sure that does not put you down. Your bad grades, your grades do not define you, and your grades in general, although certain schools do look at GPAs, but in general, most schools do look at the entire applications. So don't let your grades demotivate you guys. A few C's here and there, is okay. Of course, you will start having red flags if you keep having C's in multiple semesters. But if you have a few C's here and there, and then after those C's, you completely just skyrocket and start getting better and higher grades, that's good. It's gonna look really good on your application. Whether you're worried about, well, how should I address my C's in my interviews? What am I gonna say? Just be completely honest. I can't stress it enough. It's an email that I get all the time about students that have very bad grades on some prerequisite classes or just some basic classes, is how am I gonna address it when they ask me? Be honest. Don't make any excuses, guys. If you make excuses, you're gonna see right through you. So you wanna be honest, and being a physician assistant is all about being honest, not only with your fellow coworkers, but also with your patients. It's honesty. So that's why it's really important to be honest in your interviews. And you know, if people tell you that you're not good enough for PA school, no. If you feel like you have bad grades, no, guys, don't let that demotivate you. Work harder in your next classes, or make sure you add more stuff to your application. That way they can overlook your bad grades. They can say, well, you know, they had a few C's here and there, but they have over 1,000 hours of patient care experience. Or look at their healthcare experience hours. They have about 10,000 healthcare experience hours. Or this individual really likes working with their community. So that way you have a lot more to show on your application. Your personal statement, make sure it's pristine. You know, your application is great, everything's great, and your bad grades can be overlooked. Alright guys, thanks for watching my videos. As always, if you guys have any questions, any comments, any feedback, or any topics you guys want me to discuss in videos, make sure you comment below, and I'll talk to you guys later.